The Scarlet Knights must win. Their senior Jeff Greer has been averaging over 19 points a game the past 5, including some spectacular plays. Pittsburgh hasn't played in 9 days. Their half of the Greer brother combination, Ricardo, will face off against Jeff for the 6th and final time tonight. A crucial Big East-West battle is coming up from Pittsburgh next.
With a little over a week to go in the regular season, the goal for all Big East teams is a trip to New York City and the Big East Championships, and one of these teams can take a big step in that direction with a win tonight. The Scarlet Knights and the Panthers get set to battle. I'm John Sanders along with Ron Perry. We're inside Fitzgerald Field House tonight for what should be a terrific matchup. Similar type teams. What do you think's the key tonight?
Well, both teams score in the mid-60s. They defend well. I think the start of this game, very important. Who can jump out in front, and also the backboards. Rutgers dominated the boards the first time and shot it well. Also will be very important here tonight.
And one more time, we will match up Ricky and Jeff Greer.
Well, they've had outstanding careers. The brothers, the best combination scoring-wise in Big East history, over 1,700 points. But they want to get a W here tonight, so they'll be going at it with a competitive spirit.
A couple of weeks ago, a 20-point win by Rutgers over Pittsburgh, thanks in part to the job they did on the boards, and that was led by Rashad Kent.
Now, Kent's been playing very well inside for Rutgers. They had a plus 14 rebound advantage in that game, and Kent did a great job in that one with a double-double with 14 points and 15 rebounds. Got to stay out of foul trouble. Very important. And Pitt will be trying to go right at him to get him to draw fouls.
And how about the shooting in that game of the combination of Greer and Billet?
Well, they did a great job, combined for 49 points and 12 out of 15, 75% from three-point range. They lit it up. Look for Pitt to extend against them tonight. Should be a good matchup here.
Isaac Hawkins did not play in Pitt's last game, a win at Seton Hall 9 days ago. He will be back on the court tonight. We'll probably start for Pittsburgh. There's one little change in the starting lineup for the Scarlet Knights. We'll spell it all out. Big East basketball coming up from Pittsburgh.
It's here, waiting for you.
It is the next to last home game for the Panthers of Pittsburgh, and as they did at Rutgers a couple of weeks ago, just prior to the opening tip, which is coming up shortly, a presentation to the Greers. Cholo, Jeff on the left, and Ricardo Greer on the right, and the respective coaches handing them basketballs. Those two seniors, what a great job they've done for the Big East Conference, representing their neighborhoods and their families very well. Our CSFB direct starting lineups tonight. It's Billet, Sherrod is the freshman, Greer, Kent, and Dabney. Sherrod playing well as a freshman. Previous game, though, Renardo Brown made the start because it was senior day at Rutgers. And sneaking in right there is Kevin Bannon in his 4th season. He's taken his team to the NIT twice. Would like another postseason trip this year. Meantime, it's Page, Knight, Zavaskas, Greer, and Hawkins. Those are the starting 5. Isaac Hawkins did not play the last time out. He's in there tonight for head coach Ben Howland. A 500 record as he winds down his 2nd season at the helm. Hawkins and Dabney will jump it up. Our referee tonight is Mike Kitts. Donnie Gray and Mike Connolly are the umpires, and we're set for basketball. A very important game now. Remember, the bottom team in the standings does not go to New York City. Maybe a couple of years ago, Ron, this game wouldn't have been as important as it is now.
Now, it puts increased pressure on both clubs. They want to be playing in New York, and Rutgers right now battling it out, John, with Seton Hall in the West Division.
The interesting thing of that is both these teams, Rutgers and Pittsburgh, defeated Seton Hall twice. So any ties would go to these two teams, and it really has come down to these 3. However, you see, this is the 35th meeting. Rutgers has dominated in the series, including winning 9 out of 15 games here. They've also played a very tough schedule, 6th toughest in the nation. Hawkins buries his first shot.
Rutgers opening up man-to-man, and that's a good sign for Pitt. Hawkins tough in the paint. He'll bring Dabney out with that kind of shooting from the 15-foot elbow area.
Here is Sherrod, picked up by Ricardo Greer. Now Jeff Greer. Page is on him. They go inside to Dabney. Gets an easy look and rattles it in.
Dabney been playing much better play inside. Talking to Kevin Bannon before the game, he's really been happy with his progress, scoring 8+ points a game and really doing a good job inside for the Scarlet Knights.
And defensively right now for Rutgers, Jeff is guarding Ricardo. The brothers are matched up. Here's Hawkins. Baseline jump shot. Too strong. Kent gets it to Greer. Billet trailing the play, takes the pass. Now they'll reset in half court. We played the first minute, and it's a 2-2 ball game. Knights looking for their first lead tonight.
Man-to-man by the Panthers. Nice matchup in the guard slot. You've got Greer and Billet. They are the guys that get it done most of the time, but the paint working early with Kent again down low.
First it was Dabney, now Kent, and the Scarlet Knights have their first lead. And of course the Greer brothers being the leading all-time tandem brother-wise in conference play. Barring something unforeseen, the Billets will eventually probably own that. Page inside with a miss. Greer the rebound. Goes back up and lays it in. Strong offensive rebound for Ricardo Greer.
That's what he does so well. He can go inside and he can bang with the best of them. He's only 6'5", John, but he's got great instincts in and around the goal.
And with enough points, the Greers can also pass the Curleys for the most points all time. They hold the Big East Conference scoring record for brothers. They could break the Curleys all-game record as well here tonight.
Billy Curley, of course, and Mickey, his brother, playing for Boston College.
Page the rebound of the Jeff Greer miss. Page flies down the lane and draws a foul. On his way in, the foul was called. It's the first on Sherrod. Let's check what's happening because things are changing with rapid speed in the Big East in the final week of the season. Georgetown tying Syracuse in the standings with a 72-61 win. Boston College squeezes out a win at Providence. Huge win there. Notre Dame rolls on, beating Virginia Tech. Tech knows they will not be playing in the Big East Championship. And UConn holds off Miami at home. Hawkins that time got it over Dabney and gets his second field goal.
Nice penetration. When you penetrate, good things happen. Page get in the lane, and Hawkins, Ben Howland, happy to have him back out after that foot strain. Seems to be much better.
There it is, the three-pointer by Billet. He had 6. Jeff Greer had 6. The lead is 1 now for the Scarlet Knights. Boy, I'll tell you what, Todd Billet has been so solid. You know, you look at these two guys, Jeff Greer, Todd Billet, they are the outside offense for this team. Everybody knows it, and they still get it done.
Well, he's been unbelievable. He's led the Big East Conference for most of the year, three-point percentage and field goals made. But Hawkins, boy, he's having a field day early in this one, down low for the Panthers.
He is 3 for 4, all from close range, basically, and a 1-point lead for Pittsburgh. He's off to a good start, 6 early points. Sherrod to Billet, working on Knight. Back to Sherrod, inside Kent. Zavotska's simply not strong enough, basically, to deal with him all night long. Here comes Sherrod, dumps it to Dabney, and he hangs on, misses the first attempt. Back up again, missed that one.
Well, that's a great look for Rutgers. You just got to finish that one, but Dabney never really got the handle and couldn't put it down.
Why not dunk it if you can, huh?
Yeah, get that one right away, though. He just struggled to catch it, and then it was an adventure.
Zavotska steps out of bounds, turns it over. Well, the Scarlet Knights will bring it back, trailing by 1. There's Ben Howland, who's really kind of had to piece things together during his 2 years here.
Yeah, he's had to deal with some injuries. He does not have a deep bench, so he's done a good job with his squad, and they've been in games. Both of these teams, their records don't reflect. They've been very competitive in league play. Both have lost a lot of close games this year.
Dabney outside is off the mark. The rebound goes to Knight. The 80 points, the 81 points given up by Pittsburgh to Rutgers. That one is blocked. It goes out of bounds. No, it's saved. Those points given up to Rutgers, the most that Pittsburgh has allowed in a Big East game this year, and second most on the season. Penn State scored 88 against them. Scarlet Knights scored 84. Here's Dabney with a running hook that misses everything. Kent the putback, and he's fouled.
What a great rebound by Kent. John, he shoots that one up and under with his back to the basket. Kent goes over 260 pounds, but check him out. You got to block him out. No one really puts a good body on it. Zavoskas tries to, but he just outmuscles him, and he's able to finish. It's been good work in the paint early in this game by the Scarlet Knights.
And quickly checking in is Renardo Brown, the senior who did start the last game, that win for the Scarlet Knights over Seton Hall as they swept the series. But Kent shoots 62% from the field, but about half that from the line. But Jeff Greer gets the rebound back. Here's Billet. Puts up a long-range two-pointer that time and hits his second field goal. He's got 5, and the lead is 3.
Now, Billet's the leading scorer on this Scarlet Knight team, and 6 feet, 180 pounds, but he's just got a great feel for the game. He logs a lot of minutes. Very consistent player.
Knight tries to push him down. Zavaskas a 3 that's off the mark. Greer tips it into the hands of Kareem Wright, who's in for the first time.
Well, Brandon Knight, very quick. He's a good steal man for Pitt. He's got to do a good job on Billet to extend, put good pressure on him, and make Billet beat him to the basket.
Kent dumps it inside to Wright. Comes back outside to Brown.
The big guy's got to go up with that one. He was right in the low post on that one.
Billet able to keep it alive as he hit the deck. Shot clock winding down to 5. Wright's jumper off the glass and good.
Now, very efficient offense. That was somewhat of an adventure by Rutgers that time. But the thing early in this game, we talked about 2 evenly matched teams. Rutgers early in this one doing a much better job getting it to the rack in this game.
6-0 run right now by the Scarlet Knights. They've opened up their largest lead of the first half, up by 5 as Page backs away. Brown on him. Zavaskas as Kent jumps out on him.
Pitt needs some penetration. They're really going around the perimeter right now.
Here comes Hawkins into the lane, puts up a jumper. Too strong, gets it back. Looks for Greer, finds him. Brother against brother, and he goes back outside to Zavaskas. Here is Page. That's a first step travel. So the turnover will take us to our first timeout. We have 13:52 to play. You're watching Big East basketball.
Today's Wilson support dealer of the game is Rourke Automotive Group.
To you by Pittsburgh Panthers have gone 3 minutes without scoring, and we see more of the inside strength here of the Scarlet Knights.
But done a good job getting it down low. This was a pretty good defensive set for Pitt until the final move. They're allowing the big people, Kareem Wright that time, to get a good angle to the basket. They've got a front, deny that inside pressure. What happens against Rutgers is you've got to extend. They're shooting it very well because their perimeter people, Billet and Greer, shoot it so well.
Billet misses that time. Knight has the rebound on the weak side. First miss tonight by Todd Billet. Here is Hawkins, who has 6 early points.
Both teams playing man-to-man, so we've got some good matchups inside. Hawkins and Kent matched up.
That's Page with it. And Ricardo Greer off the mark. Kent has the rebound. Set to check in is Jerron Brown for Pittsburgh at the first opportunity. 13-8, 5-point lead for the Knights. And Rutgers has the ball. Coming off a big win at home. Very solid win against Seton Hall. He buries that 3-pointer. Greer's second field goal. He's got 5. He's got a 3. So does Billet.
Very accurate shooting by Rutgers. They're getting good outside looks. The defense extends, and then they go inside. For Pitt, they've got to look for more action going to the goal.
Tried to thread the needle that time, couldn't do it. Greer, little stop-and-go move, gets to the baseline. Fans wanted the double dribble. Billet hits a 3. That's 8 points for Billet, and the Pittsburgh Panthers are going to take a timeout. It is a 12-0 run and an 11-0 lead. So a timeout here for Pittsburgh. They're trying to regroup. Early charge by the Knights. Hot start for the Scarlet Knights. They've opened up an 11-point lead. Pittsburgh has gone over 4 minutes without scoring, and the Knights have run off 12 in a row. They have been terrific.
Been some great passing, and you've got this Greer-Billet tandem that's been terrific this year. They've shot the ball extremely well. As you see, Greer knocking that 3 down against Pitt. They made 12 threes the first time, and here's a couple more. You try to thread the needle there with Hawkins throwing a chest pass from the top. Just not going to get it through. And then next time, Greer able to get it to Billet for another tray.
Back to live action as Ricardo Greer looks inside. Torrey Morris has checked into the lineup for the first time. We mentioned Brown coming on, and Ricardo fights it up and draws the foul. Is it going to be on Kent? It is. It'll be his first, and that's one concern, obviously. Kent has fouled out of a couple of games so far. They've got to take care with their big people, but it's more of a problem for Pittsburgh, obviously, because they have fewer bodies.
Yeah, there's not a lot of depth there, and there's certainly Kevin Bannon, though, has stressed importance of having Kent out there. Greer's numbers, you can see it, leading the team in scoring, just behind Isaac Hawkins in rebounding. Very consistent performer. They need him to come up big in this game tonight.
And how versatile has he been? He's 8th all-time in assists, number 9 in scoring, 7th in rebounds, 5th all-time in steals. It's a pretty good package for Ricardo Greer. Even though he has been bothered by nagging injuries throughout this season, that does cut off a 12-0 run by the Scarlet Knights, who have the ball. Here's Todd Billet. Ron Brown on him.
6'4", 225. So Ben Holland trying to get some more size and quickness, but he's got more size on Billet right now, and I think that's the move to try to slow him down.
Shot clock inside 10. He's back out for the 3 by Greer. It's short, and that's going to be Kent over the back. He will pick up his 2nd foul. That's one of the things that Kevin Bannon talked about prior to the game. He said we've got to keep Rashad Kent from getting himself into early foul trouble.
Well, right there he picks up a really kind of a silly one on the boards with number 2.
10-point lead for the Knights. You're watching Big East basketball. Let's check out some other top 25 action in college basketball. Of course, the Big East playing as well this afternoon. This is the only Big East night game being played, and Georgetown knocked off Syracuse at home. It was Duke. Last second, a buzzer beater over Wake Forest. Florida beats Alabama. And Indiana rolling over Wisconsin. Tennessee over Vanderbilt. BC sneaked out of Providence with a 1-point win. Notre Dame rolling over Virginia Tech. We'll keep you posted on all of the scores as we go along. Stevanovic is in the lineup for the first time for Pittsburgh.
It's all winding down, John. Everyone getting ready for March Madness, trying to pour it on down the stretch.
Morris turns, shoots, bending off. Greer has the rebound, and it's taken away. Comes Sherrod back the other way. Flying down the court, now reverses to Jeff Greer. Deron Brown going for the steal, taps it out of bounds. It'll be Scarlet Knight basketball. Here comes Chad Johnson. So at this point, you can tell that Ben Howland's looking for some combination to click a little bit offensively.
Well, and he's turning up the heat with Jeff Billet on the bench, trying to see if the defense can pick up the offense for Pitt in this game. They've been really stalled offensively, and I think they'd like to get out and run if they can get some defensive stops and hit the boards.
Brown almost had the steal. The Panthers have already used 9 players. Shot clock at 5. Renardo Brown inside, kept it alive, gets it to Axani. Now back for Greer's 3 on the way, too strong. Rebound pulled down by Deron Brown.
He's done a nice job defensively, John, and now hitting the boards. Brown getting right into the thick of things out there.
He almost lost his dribble, but did manage to get it back. Zavaskas looks inside to Morris, nothing there. Stevanovic to Morris for the jam. It will go, and the foul's on Wright. Corey Morris started the last game for Pittsburgh in place of Hawkins and played very, very well.
Yes, he did, with a double-double in that game, John. Nice look inside, and Morris, a big body, so he gives Ben Howland another look inside at the freshman center at 6'10", 280.
And they will need him. He'll be the only big man here next year unless they go out and maybe recruit some junior college players. The Panthers went over 6 minutes between field goals and find themselves down by 8. Morris only 7 of 17 from the stripe, and it rattles out.
Well, with Hawkins out the last game against Seton Hall, Morris stepped in, played 30 minutes, 10 points, 10 rebounds. So his confidence level had to really pick up after that one.
And a high, career high, his first double figure and double rebound game. Sherrod steps down the lane, misses the runner. Back the other way comes Chad Johnson. Johnson kicks it to Zavaskas. His 3 is off the mark. Johnson there for the offensive rebound and the score on the baseline jumper. Very athletic moves by Johnson.
Not only athletic, John, but really gives the team a lift, and sometimes that's what you need to get the momentum turned around. Great hustle effort by Chad Johnson. Check him out. Weak side rebound. He's up and at him. He'd been passing the ball in the play before. Got over there somehow. Finished, John, and gets his team lifted with this play.
I'll tell you what I like about it, too. He didn't mess around. He went right back up with it and had a wide open look.
Yeah, he makes the pass. He goes right into the weak side and just sends it down. Constant motion, and that's what you want off the bench. Somebody to give you a lift, and that's what he's doing right now.
Ricardo Greer with 3 points early on. Isaac Hawkins had 6 of the first 8 points for the Panthers, but has not scored since. Pittsburgh has sliced that 11-point lead down to 6 now. It's a good start inside for the Scarlet Knights. They did a terrific job early in the ball game, and Pittsburgh beginning to battle back in that inside category.
No question about it. Rutgers dominating early. It's balancing out. Both teams, man-to-man, very similar styles. Very much expect, John, that we'll have a game here that plays out in the 60s, maybe the low 70s, but not an up-and-down track meet. These teams like to set up.
Garage pass picked off by Greer, and he will float in and jam it.
Now, nice job by Pitt. You get back in the game by playing good defense, and right now, Pitt balancing this game out by playing some D, and now they're going down and getting a couple of easy hoops.
Sherrod has played the point as a freshman, which is not an easy task, even though Billet actually has more assists per game than he does. He is the point guard. Right now has the ball. Finds Greer. No place to go. Shot clock is inside 10 again. Sherrod from the foul line puts it up. Too strong. Loose. Stevanovic picks it up for the Panthers.
It's one of those deals where you do a good job, you play good D, you box up, but somebody's got to pick that ball up.
Everybody's going to run away and leave the ball lying on the ground.
Wait a minute, we forgot something.
Can't score without that ball. Nobody knows that better than Ron Perry, right?
Oh, you got to bring that up and get it down and get ready to shoot it.
Here's Knight's first three-pointer of the night, and he buries it. First three-pointer for Pittsburgh, and it's a 10-0 Panther run. They are down by just 1. Earlier, a 12-0 run for the Knights. Now it's Pittsburgh on a 10-0 run.
Boy, this has just been two different ball games in this first half. Keyed by the defensive intensity. Right now it's Pittsburgh. They've got the momentum. And for Rutgers to turn it around, they've sort of stopped going inside, which they had going early.
Billet.
There they go.
A good feed inside to Eugene Dabney. Gets his second field goal. Well, that breaks the 10-0 Pittsburgh run.
That's what they did so well early. They went right back to it. Points in the paint. Very effective for Rutgers. To start the game, they went away from it. See if they can find it again.
Hawkins back on the court. Greer to Knight. Good matchup as Knight squared off right now with Billet. Stevanovic, Hawkins. Inside feed, a good one to Johnson. He rattles it off the glass and home. Second field goal for Johnson. Back to a 1-point difference.
Yeah, to be effective in this league, John, with the balance of teams top to bottom, you need some depth. You need people to step up for you. Chad Johnson giving Ben Howland that extra lift here tonight so far.
That's a three, and it's good.
Oh.
That's his third tonight. 11 points for Todd Billet.
And John, he's falling backwards on that one. He's catching that ball on the right wing and falling back into the Pitt bench. He's got great range and rhythm on that three-point shot.
He is 4 of 5 so far. Here's Knight's three as he tries to answer and does. Is that a sweet sound when it swishes from three-point range or what?
You just got to love that sound. Anytime it goes in, the sweet sound of the swish. And we're seeing some good shooting here tonight.
Billet thought about going to Dabney, and that's going to be a foul on Knight. Brandon picks up his first, and there have been very few fouls so far. That's only the second team foul on Pittsburgh. It will take us to a timeout with the Knights leading by 1. .23, Scarlet Knights on top. Some excellent three-point shooting here in the last couple of minutes.
Oh, it really has been. We've had some good inside play, but we've got Billet and Greer lighting it up. There's Jeff Billet with great range that time from the right side, and Brandon Knight right back with the answer. He kind of goes behind the screen. Billet sneaks behind it, and Knight's hit a couple, so we've got a ball game here where teams are trading baskets right now, John, both inside and out.
a little bit of an edge right now to the Scarlet Knights. They got off shooting the threes a little quicker than Pittsburgh did. Had a dozen, remember, between Greer and Billet 2 weeks ago.
Real touch foul that last time by Knight. He was called for the blocking foul, had his hands up. Didn't think there was a lot of contact. Got the crowd a little bit going.
Pick and roll, but Dabney comes up short with his shot, keeps it alive though. Exani got it back. Here's Billet around Knight inside for the floater, and he hits it. 13 points for Todd here in the first half.
Just finds a way to get it done. He's solid, he's fundamentally sound, and he is not missing much here tonight at Fitzgerald Field House.
Not so far. 3-point lead. And as big as 11. Hawkins, Evans blocked. But Dabney tipped it right back to Isaac. He can't get the roll. Greer going for the offensive rebound. Exani had it. Taken away by Johnson. He missed. Tip no good. Another tip no good. Here's Greer with one more try, and he scores.
Oh, wow. That's the senior for you, though. He gets it, and he's a finisher. He goes up with a tough lefty finish. Good job by Pitt. They just wanted that one, John.
They got it. That'll be number 1 on Ricardo.
Pittsburgh foul on against number 25, Ricardo Greer.
And as you might expect, the Greer section of the New York City area is well represented on the far side of the court.
As it should be for this one. The brothers going at it again. They're into the game.
They were on hand a couple of weeks ago in Piscataway and on hand here in Pittsburgh tonight. Greer against Johnson. Finds Dabney. Dump down to Exani. Spins, shoots, too strong. Dabney gets the offensive rebound and steps out of bounds. He knew it. Sneaked in there for the offensive rebound, but that is just turnover number 2.
Now, both teams want this game. You can see it. Pitt really wants it, and Rutgers wants it. The big guys are flying hard to the backboards, and we've got ourselves a tight one here now in the first half of action.
Well, the Panthers need it because they want to eliminate themselves from that 3-team race to get to New York City. If they win tonight, they know they're going to go to the tournament. Hawkins from outside. Exani leaning in for a rebound, and let's see if Jeff Greer went over his back. He went over the back of Johnson, so Jeff, immediately after Ricardo picks up a foul, matches it.
And of course, Rutgers sees themselves down there, John, right now with 3 league victories. Seton Hall's got 4, and they know with 3 to go, they've got to pour it on.
Well, they must win. That's all there is to it. Hope that Seton Hall drops another one. Almost thrown out of bounds by Hawkins. Knight spins on Billet, takes a bump. You know he's thinking, hey, that was a foul when I did it the other one.
Hey, let's kind of even things out a little bit here. Man to man, we stay with it. We'll pick and roll action up top.
Knight. And there is the foul. Number 2 on Todd Billet. He made a foul early on in the game. Picks up his second here. It'll be a 1-and-1. We head to the bonus. Only 3 team fouls on the Panthers, and that is the 7th. Todd Billet gets an earful from Donnie Gray. He reacted to the call. Late in the season, tempers might be a little short, huh?
Yeah, you get to that point and everything's on the line, so you really got that razor-sharp competitive juices flowing, John. So a little bit the wrong way can set you off.
Knight with 7 early points, 2 3-pointers, and that free throw. Torrey Morris in, Hawkins out. And that's Rashad Kent sitting on the bench. Remember, Rashad picked up 2 early fouls, and he's sitting about, maybe 15, 20 feet away from his mother and his grandmother, who made about a 1-hour drive from Fairmont, which is just south of Morgantown, to be here to watch their son. Here's Billet back the other way.
He wants to be out there, but he's slumped back in that chair. He better move up in the seat a little bit, be ready to go, because Kevin Bannon could look at him and say, let's get back in there and play some ball.
Tapped away in the backcourt. Greer will track it down. We have been tied now 3 times here in the first half. Biggest lead was 11 for the Knights. It's going to be a foul on the freshman Page, who has not scored tonight. I tell you what, next year you'll see number 1 doing a lot of scoring for Ben Howland.
Well, the freshman guard, 6'3", 180. He's a guy that's got great athletic ability. He's the 2nd leading scorer on the team this year. Just under 10 a game.
But has not scored so far tonight.
Billet Billet's just really got the hot hand so far for Rutgers in this one. He was 8 for 11 in the first meeting. He had a career-high 11 assists in that game as well.
They had a pair of double-doubles. Kent with his points and rebounding, and Billet with his points and assists. Here's Jeff Greer working on Chad Johnson. Takes him to the baseline, puts up a runner, won't go, tipped away. Here comes Knight around Billet. He's got a free lane to the basket and takes it in. It's 9 for Knight, and the Panthers are back on top.
Yeah, that's the defense again, and good job by Pitt getting the loose ball, and Brandon Knight's got the quickness, explosiveness. He can really get the team going.
Billet.
Neither team has the dominant post-game, John. They just try to get some production from a number of people. They're perimeter teams, so both clubs trying to get it done shooting-wise in this game.
And inside, the turnover will send it back the other way. A 3-second violation takes us to a break with 3:07 to play. Pittsburgh on top by 2. Has a much wider body than his brother, and that's one of the differences. That's a blocking foul. But a travel was called before, so there is no foul.
It's good teamwork by the officials. Donnie Gray underneath sees the blocking foul on it, but Mike Kitchens in midcourt sees the travel first and calls the walk. Let's see if we see the foot shuffle. The foot shuffle and then the contact.
Well, that was the call. So Johnson goes back to the bench. Zavatskis is back on. Pittsburgh's lead is 2, and the Panthers, as Morris checks out for Isaac Hawkins. Isaac in very good spirits prior to the game. Said he's feeling much better. He's had a foot problem. It's nothing really serious, but it's been nagging enough to slow him down.
Well, he couldn't go in the last game, the Seton Hall game, and of course Torrey Morris stepped in, but he looks good moving out there tonight.
The shot clock is off, so the Panthers will use the last 15 seconds of the half.
Need penetration and a chance to rebound.
Inside, Hawkins puts it up and lays it home. Hawkins got him off and going. Maybe gets his last basket of the first half. It's a 4-point Pittsburgh lead. 32-28, Pittsburgh is on top. The Knights had the biggest lead in the first half, 11. This is the Panthers' biggest lead. We'll have a look at the Big East Wire when we come back to Fitzgerald Field House in Pittsburgh with more Big East basketball. Along with Ron Perry. Let's check out some of the stats. Fairly even, both in shooting and maybe a bit of a surprise because Pittsburgh with a slight edge in rebounding.
Well, both teams did shoot it pretty well in the first half, just below 50%, as you can see out there for Pitt, and Rutgers at 44. A rebounding advantage for Pitt. A little bit, not much of a free throw first half, John. Neither team shoot it real well. That could be interesting. And an advantage in the paint area for Pitt. It was Rutgers early, so that could play out as an interesting stat in the second half as well.
Pitt did turn around a little bit. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. And it was a highlight reel type first half for one Mr. Todd Billet.
Now, he had an outstanding first half with a game-high 13 for Rutgers. He shot the 3 well. He doesn't need a lot of room. When he gets it, he can make it happen, and then it opens up some lanes for him with a nice runner right there in the lane. But Brandon Knight picking things up for Pitt in the first half. He showed some nice flashes out there, very quick. Once he got a handle on this one, able to finish that one off. For Pitt, if they can get more open court opportunities and penetrations, nice dish right there. Knight to Greer, and Greer knows how to get it done with the finish.
Ricardo stayed with it and managed to get it to go home. He had 9 points in the first half. His brother had just 5. It is a 4-point Pittsburgh lead at halftime. Both teams are back on the court. We'll be back with more basketball after this. The scoring, Kent had 4, Dabney had 4, Jeff Greer had 5 in the first half, and for Pittsburgh, Ricardo with 9, Knight with 9, and Hawkins had 8. So the leading scorers both ways in the opening half, and we're underway in the second half. Scarlet Knights in their scarlet road uniforms. Here's Kent. He had to sit, Ronnie, a lot of that first half, but if he got the first early fouls.
Got to get back in the flow, and that'll do it, John. What an alley-oop play to Kent. See if that'll get him going into the action without committing another foul. Nice start.
Pittsburgh made only 5 team fouls in the first half. So there was just one free throw shot. It was a miss by Kent.
Start to the second half, just as important as the start to the game. Can you get the momentum going? Even if you've got it going into the locker room, sometimes that intermission break slows you down, and we'll see what happens to start this second half. Tight ball game.
Page into the lane, comes to a jump stop and parries a beautiful effort. He gets extra points for degree of difficulty in getting his first field goal.
Well, it shows you his athleticism. The lefty just came to a great jump stop on that one and made a tough shot.
Jeff matched up against brother Ricardo Greer. Final time in the regular season. Knight taps it away, and the foul's going to be, I believe, on Greer. Greer going for the loose ball, banged into Kent, and he will pick up number 2. As we talked a lot about the brothers, there are the numbers.
Ricardo with the advantage in the first half, picking up his second personal foul, going for that loose ball. And one thing about Jeff Greer, he can score in some bunches, but he will not force shots if they're not there. There's a look.
Jumping out of bounds, but getting the timeout was Kent. So Rashad Kent takes us to the first timeout in the second half with the lead the same as it was at intermission. Each team has scored 4 points. Take a look at the comparison between Billet and Knight.
Well, Jeff Billet advantage with the 13 points to 9 for Brandon Knight. Shooting the ball well, but they're both having good, solid ball games for their clubs, running their teams and making some good decisions out there. Good matchup. Heads up play by Rashad Kent, that time going out of bounds to take the quick timeout rather than lose the ball. Possession's very important in this game, and that's where you use your 30-second timeouts.
Todd Billet will run the inbounds play for the Knights. Same starting 5 both ways for both teams. Hawkins back in the starting lineup for Pittsburgh tonight. Here's Billet. Greer. Dabney inside Kent, the overplay, set up the steal. Greer races ahead, gets the pass, gets the score. First Pittsburgh player in double figures. Ricardo has 11.
Well, these teams generally use the half-court set, but when they've been able to turn each other over, they will look to run. You can get some easy baskets that way.
Dabney spins inside right into the arms of Zabaskas, who finds Greer. Greer to Page, steps back for 3, comes up short. Sherrod has got Dabney ahead. Billet trailing the play. Sherrod takes it all the way.
Little up and down action right now. We're seeing that both teams can run the break if they have the numbers. They do have some quickness. Sherrod really gets up and down the floor, John. He's had a good year at point as a freshman.
And I think we'll see him get better and better.
No doubt about it.
Here's Greer, lost it, gets it back. Zabaskas has been very quiet, has not scored tonight. Donatus averaging almost 8 points a game. Shot clock at 10, tapped away out of bounds. It's Pittsburgh ball. But just 8 on the shot clock.
Now, not a lot by way of any differences coming out of the locker room. Both coaches going right at it. Ben Howland with man-to-man defense in Rutgers. Same thing, going right at each other. Who can execute better in this second half?
Knight just inside the foul line. It'll be foul number 3 on Todd Billet, the first player on either team with 3 fouls. Keep an eye on Todd. He has fouled out just once this season. This is game number 25 for both teams. Zabaskas baseline shot. Greer has the offensive rebound and will go to the line. Foul is going to be on Dabney. It'll be the first on Eugene.
Now it's a battle inside, but right now Pitt getting the better of it on the weak side, and that was all ball by Dabney. Was it Jeff Greer that caught him with the body?
They called the foul on Dabney.
He had a lot of leather on that one.
Greer 2 out of 3 at the free throw line. The senior with a dozen so far. And he and his brother have both been solid performers, Ronnie, for 4 years.
They really have been. The word that comes to mind is just consistent. They both show up. Different types of player. Ricardo Greer more around the basket. better rebounder, Jeff a better perimeter player, but both, every game, they're there for their respective clubs.
Panthers have matched their biggest lead of the night, up by 6. Billet inside to Kent. Turns it over. Looked at the official. He didn't steal it. Here's Hawkins in the lane for a jumper short. And there's an aroused Rashad Kent.
He is fired up for this second half. He dunked it early, and he is going at the boards with a vengeance.
Billet steps back, resets the offense.
Got a technical. He said something else to Mike Kitts.
And that's going to be a technical foul on Rashad Kent. So it will go as his 3rd personal foul as well.
Well, I think he's been bumped early in this second half by Zavaskis. He was frustrated, said something last time to Mike Kitts, and then said it again as he came down the court and got the technical foul. Not a good one, because you don't want to ever get one, but that's number 3 for Rashad Kent. He'll have to just cool himself down. They need him on the floor.
And Billet has 3 as well. So those 2 players you just saw, each with 3 fouls. And the first point of the night. Zavaskis far and away the best free throw shooter on the court tonight at 84%, and by far the best one that the Panthers have had all year. These 2 teams have really struggled shooting free throws. But Pittsburgh has an 8-point lead, and that is their largest tonight. Kind of a wry smile on the face of Kevin Bannon. Won the Battle of the State of New Jersey this year, beating Seton Hall twice. And they're still discussing where the ball should be. Remember that for technical fouls now, it goes back to where it was before.
Right.
So if Rutgers had the ball in the offensive possession, they'll get it again, which is what happened.
Well, it was a personal foul, though, on Rashad Kent. The free throws by Zavaskis. And back we come with the possession.
40-32. Pittsburgh has the lead. And they're questioning, I think, the shot clock as well. It's set right now at 21. The officials seem to like that number. So I think we're ready to go again. Ready or not, here they come.
Here we go, back at it.
Dabney. Oh, he traveled and got away with it. Kent gets the good feet inside and reverses to score the basket.
A lot of shuffling that time, both by Dabney and by Kent. Dabney's got to take the ball. If you're a big man and you're not covered at the foul line area, you've got to take the ball to the defensive player.
Greer against Greer scores. That's 15 points for Ricardo as he took it right to his brother.
Well, he's stronger and he's tougher in the paint area. We'll see if Jeff can counter with something from the perimeter as the brothers match up.
Here is Jeff. Ricky out on him. Billet's 3. Boy, he can shoot it in a hurry. Dabney has the rebound, and that's going to be foul number 3 on Ricardo Greer.
If you're a player in this game, John, you've got to notice that the officials calling the reach-ins more closely and knock it off, because you're going to get rung up with the personal.
It takes us to a timeout. Panthers up by 8. 15:42 to go in the game. You're watching Big East basketball. It was a dandy, Ronnie.
Now, we've seen some good penetrating moves in this game, but Mike Sherrod, the freshman, just goes coast to coast that time. No one picks him up, shows you his quickness. He just takes it right to the goal. Nice finish. Good fundamentals on that one.
That last Pittsburgh foul, by the way, was not on Ricardo Greer. It was on Brandon Knight.
Pittsburgh foul called against number 5.
Zavaskis now picks up his 2nd foul. So Greer has just 2 fouls, not 3. The foul was on Knight, so he has a pair. Not shooting either way so far here in the second half. We're almost 5 minutes in. 3-second violation.
3-second violation.
That's 10 turnovers now for the Scarlet Knights.
Kent's open down low on that one, John. You got to give him the ball. He worked hard to get position. They don't give it to him. He gets called for the 3 seconds.
42-34 Pittsburgh. Alley-oop to Hawkins. Isaac in double figures now with 10.
contact was there with Brandon Knight. You've got to know when your player is behind you. Great look that time and finish.
Sherrod over Zavascus, an air ball into the hands of Hawkins. Back comes Pittsburgh, leading in double figures by 10. Johnson, who played well in limited minutes in the first half, is back on. Now Hawkins working on Dabney. In a crowd. Gets it back to Page. Steps around the three, puts up the jumper short. Gets it back. A new clock for Pittsburgh with 14:35 to go.
Now, Rutgers right now is just getting beat to the basketball. They were up early in this game and now down 10. They've got to play some defense, trying to even things up.
That basket does not count. The foul came before the shot. And the foul is number 4 on Rashad Kent. He leveled Knight that time.
Well, see him bust through the screen. There it is right there. Boom. Number 4. And Rashad Kent, we talked to Kevin Bannon prior to the game. So one of the real keys, first game, he had a double-double with 14 points, 15 boards. We need him on the floor. And now he's got to sit with 4. And that third foul, crucial, John, was the technical foul.
That's exactly right. Here's Zavascus along the baseline. Lost it out of bounds. That's the first turnover of the second half charged against the Panthers. There have been 4 by the Scarlet Knights. Brown is checked back in. Exani is on as well for Rutgers. This is Billet. To Wright, who's come on to replace Kent, who is a very unhappy young man sitting on that bench right now.
Well, he wants to play well. His mom's here at the game tonight, and
sitting right behind me, basically.
Probably turned it up a little bit because of that, and he's got to sit now for a while with 4.
Greer has been struggling with his shot tonight. Has just that 1 3-pointer. Greer just 1 of 7 shooting. Here's Knight into the lane. A little wraparound pass, and he'll get it back from Hawkins.
Knight's got some real quickness. When he gets going coast to coast, he can get into that lane in a hurry.
Here's Knight's 3. Rattled out. Right the rebound to Billet. Here comes Billet. Gets it back from Greer. Right. Looks for help. Finds it from Brown. The 3 on the way and good. Ricardo Brown hits the 3. Just his 4th 3-pointer of the season. Remember, he missed 11 games because of some eligibility problems.
Well, he brings some quickness to the team. The points are a bonus. You talk a lot. You hear coaches say reverse the basketball. And that's exactly what Rutgers did. That's a big hoop for them, John.
Yeah, they went over 3 minutes, Ronnie, without scoring. So it is a big basket for the Knights. Cuts the lead to 7. Shot clock at 10. Here comes Brown. Misses Hawkins. The putback is good. A dozen for Hawkins. Ricardo Greer has 15. And we have an injury, either a poke in the eye or a poke in the nose to Ricardo Brown.
And number 55.
Ricky Greer is back on. Morris checks back in. Hawkins, Zavascus to the bench. And Page will come on and replace Knight.
Brown's hurting. He's holding his nose. He wants to stay in the game. Saying, I'm out here now. Nice job by Hawkins. He's played very solidly inside for the Panthers tonight.
He's made 3 of his last 4, but just 5 of 13 on the night. Here's Brown against Page and is fouled on the way in. So Julius will pick up his 2nd foul. 12 minutes, 21 seconds to play. I'm John Sanders along with Ron Perry. Glad you could join us tonight. Like I said, a couple of years ago, maybe nobody would have cared too much who won this game down in the standings, but with a spot in the tournament on the line, it's so important. The miss of the 3 by Billet, the rebound by Johnson, keeps his dribble, takes it all the way in, and it is fouled.
I think the difference in this second half is Pitt has come out and they have turned their defensive intensity up. They're playing tough defense. Rutgers not getting a lot of good looks. When they get them, they're quick shots, and they're only getting 1 shot, it seems, each time down the floor.
We're going to get 2 right here at the line for Johnson. Just a 57% free throw shooter. Makes it a 10-point lead. Again. Johnson, the transfer from Nebraska.
Brought some real enthusiasm and intensity to the game tonight, John. Real lift for the Panthers off the bench.
And he got the roll on number 2, so Pittsburgh has its biggest lead of the night, up by 11. To the lead of 11 that Rutgers had early on in this ball game. But the Panthers have wiped that out. Brown penetrates, turns it over. Greer to Johnson, flying with a long bounce pass. It was too long. That was a major league bounce pass effort. It was too strong. You're watching Big East basketball. It's 48-37. Let's check out some of our Volkswagen Big East leaders. You see field goal percentage. Bradley, Bowman, Humphrey, Brown, Greer. Three-point shooting. For Todd Billet in Big East play is the best and has the most three-pointers. These are overall numbers you're looking at. Kent almost averaging a double-double. Tonight he's near a double-double in fouls and rebounds maybe, huh?
Yeah, they need him back on the floor. Hopefully for Rutgers, he can give him some good minutes down the stretch. And the other number that jumps out at me, John, Michael Bradley's been right around 70% field goal shooting all year.
Push on Morris from behind. The Pittsburgh freshman from Florida will pick up his first foul. We're not in the bonus either way. Each team has 5 team fouls here in the second half. And we'll do it again.
Man-to-man on the inbound play. Sometimes you can free a man up with a good screen inside on this.
Remember, Pittsburgh made only 5 team fouls in the first half, and once again the Scarlet Knights will try to inbound. And we check out top 25 action. UCLA did win over Oregon State in overtime. And Michigan State now beginning to roll at State College at Stanford with an early lead over Washington. Those are top 25 games still being played tonight. Here's Greer with it.
Real battle inside with Morris and Wright. Couple of big boys banging on the blocks.
Billet. Greer, 3 points. And it nesses into that just his second basket of the night. 6 points for Greer. They've both been three-pointers, but he had really been on a surge, averaging over 19 a game for the past 5, and that's gone away tonight.
Well, he's been tightly defended, and Billet in the second half, he's also tightly defended. He hasn't scored yet in the second half. It's like a zone here now by Rutgers for the first time. 2-3. Going to force Pitt to shoot from the perimeter.
Johnson with some penetration, scoops it home.
Beautiful drive. You can't allow that if you're in the zone. You got to pinch down. They allowed Johnson to let go right into the bucket.
Heads up. Thought you weren't looking there for a minute, Ron. I know you've got the good hands, but if it hits you in the head, it doesn't count.
Would have been a quick reaction, John. Understand one thing. I would have kept that ball away from you. Would have protected
that's
you.
The most important thing. Ready to go. We're nearing the midway point, second half. 10-point Pittsburgh lead. Panthers trying to lock up a spot in the Big East Championship coming up in Madison Square Garden, and Greer misses again. The other Greer with a rebound. Jeff has struggled with his shot tonight. Knight takes a bump from Brown, but keeps the dribble alive. Tries to squeeze the baseline, sets up Page for 3, bending, good. Page adds to the biggest lead of the night. The Panthers are up 13 and a timeout by the Scarlet Knights.
Well, the important thing is you've got to build on it, John. We've seen it in this league, and we've seen it here tonight. Teams can put runs together of 10 points in a hurry with three-point shooting. You've got to maintain the intensity if you're Pittsburgh, and if you're Rutgers, you've got to bear down on defense and can't allow these open looks that Pitt's getting right now and connecting on. A nice kickout pass, isn't it, by Knight? He finds Julius Page out in the perimeter. And when you can go inside and then kick it outside, quite often your man is open out there. Page shaking his head, but you know what? He'll take the friendly roll on that one.
It's his first three-pointer of the night. The Panthers have made only 3 three-pointers Billet has 3 for the Scarlet Knights. Brown has a 3, and Jeff Greer has a pair of 3-pointers. But that has been it for Jeff tonight, just those 6 points. Billet has not scored, Ronnie, in the second half.
Well, he's been tightly defended, tough man-to-man. Julius Page, very quick, playing him tight. He's got to look for his shot.
Did he push off? Nope. The foul's going to be on Knight. Greer had worked his way to the foul line, gave Knight a little shove as he reacts, but that's going to be number 3 on Brandon Knight.
That's a big ball right there, because if Billet gets it, it's his 4th. And that one looked like it could have gone either way, John. He's pushing off with that left hand.
Jerron Brown quickly checks in for Brandon Knight. Here's Billet. And it's picked up by Page, who takes it all the way.
Jamming Julius, he can rise.
And Jeff Greer lost it. Dabney now on the court with Rashad Kent. So they go much bigger right now as Dabney and Kent play together. Remember, Kent playing with 4 fouls. Billet weaves his way inside, puts up a floater that's good. First basket in the second half for Todd. He's got 15 in the game.
He's got to look for it more often. So does Jeff Greer. And again for Rutgers, they've got to get a couple of stops defensively.
Hawkins with it.
Playing a matchup zone right now, John. They're trying to protect Rashad Kent inside.
Vasquez all alone. He was so wide open, he missed everything.
They really pulled the trigger back on that one.
Might have been expecting contact, but he's now 0 for 4 in field goals. Brown with it. Works on Greer. Gets inside. Leans through the double team. Greer slows it down. Now looks inside. Baseline for Page. Misses Greer to put back. Ricardo Greer with 17.
Well, we've seen it a couple of times tonight, but Ricardo Greer, if you're watching this game, just shows you his nose for the ball. The pass and then the follow always seems to be around the basketball.
That foul's going to go on Dabney as he was battling inside with Isaac Hawkins. Dabney will pick up his second as Wright checks back in and Sherrod returns for the Scarlet Knights.
Now instead of standing, Greer on that last play follows it right in. No one blocks him out. He's got an easy lay-in. Played exceptional basketball for the Panthers, scoring, rebounding, and just his presence out there, John, real stability by Ricardo Greer.
Panthers have matched their largest lead of the night, up by 15. Inside Brown. Feed to Hawkins for a stop. Hawkins with 14, and the Panthers lead grows to 17.
Well, they're really separating themselves, John. If they can get the W in this game in that win-loss column, send themselves to New York City for the Big East tournament.
This would lock up a spot in the championship for them. Billet bending no good. Velasquez inside for the rebound for Pittsburgh. The Panthers right now doing everything right. Long lead pass, touch last by Hawkins. It'll be Scarlet Knight basketball. 7:41 to play. We have an official's timeout. The Panthers right now dunking the Scarlet Knights up by 17. And if it hangs on, they will go to the Garden.
A better overall balance by Pitt in this game. Billet just 2 points in this second half. Jeff Greer has had a quiet night. He's got just 6 points. And those are the guys that really have carried the load for Rutgers. Kent's been in and out of foul trouble. That's also been a big key for Rutgers right now. They've got to make a push, John, big time right now.
They are really hounding Billet along that baseline. Jerron Brown was right in his back pocket. Greer to Billet. Sherrod along the baseline inside to Kent. Has it knocked away as he started to go up and a foul called. That one is going to be on Ricardo Greer, number 3. That's not bad news because you put Kent at the line.
He really struggles. He shoots so well from the floor, but to gamble and reach in, he's been shooting in the 35-36% range from the line this year.
Well, the difference is he's not 15 feet away when he shoots from the field. He's more like 2 or 3 feet away.
In the lineup for Pittsburgh, number 20.
Brown checks out as Brandon Knight comes back on.
Look for pressure by Rutgers if he can get the free throw to go.
Man, he can't. But Wright is there with a putback.
Well, that really drives a coach crazy on a free throw. If you don't block out, you've got position and allow a man to rebound and get an easy putback.
It's almost like he was the only guy rebounding.
He was by himself.
The lead is 15. Zavascus with it. Zavascus has yet to make a field goal. Stevanovic gets it back to him. Now Knight. Hawkins. Travel. Panthers turn it over, which is exactly what Rutgers needed. You know, the 3 free throws attempted tonight by Rutgers all have been shot by Rashad Kent. They're 0 for 3, and Ronnie, that's been it in the free throw category tonight.
That is amazing. And, you know, they were going inside early, John, and it's also an indication they haven't aggressively taken the ball to the bucket, particularly in the second half.
Right inside to Kent, knocked away. Kent gets it back, throws it up, and Hawkins has the rebound. We are in Fitzgerald Field House for Big East Conference basketball tonight. A critical game in the West. I'm John Sanders along with Ron Perry. Glad you could join us from Fitzgerald. This old building on its last legs.
Important for Pitt right now to work the shot clock each time down the floor, but remain aggressive, because otherwise, we've seen Rutgers this year. They can come back with some three-point shooting.
Knight doesn't get the roll. Zavascus almost got a tip in. Instead, it's Rashad Kent to Billet. 3-on-3. Billet lost it. Tracked down by Sherrod. He penetrates all the way to the hole. Quick timeout taken, and that could be the last. Oh, it's Pittsburgh's timeout, so the Panthers will take a timeout. They've still got 2 more 30-second timeouts remaining. Rutgers with 1:30 and 1 full timeout. And the Panthers lead right now is 13 here at Fitzgerald Field House. What a change from the early part of the ball game when Rutgers broke out early, seemed to be doing everything right, got a lot of good play inside, had the early advantage and points in the paint, built an 11-point lead, and it's all gone away.
Well, Pittsburgh really bore down early. They started playing better defense, got the ball inside themselves, and had an advantage on both the boards and points in the paint. Second half, they've just played more aggressively, better defense. But the last couple of possessions, good timeout by Ben Howland. You could see a let-up there, John, by Pitt saying, hey, we're up by a lot. This is a Rutgers team that definitely needs this game. They're not going to go away until the final buzzer sounds in this ball game.
Billet has been quieted in the second half. Got 13 in the first half, but has just 2 in the second half. Brandon Knight has not scored in the second half. Inside the 6-minute mark. 5.5 to go. Ricardo Greer against brother Jeff. Very quiet in here for the most part, Ronnie.
It's a lull right now, John.
Knight tried to go inside. It was batted away. Sherrod racing through the middle, draws a foul. That will be the 3rd on Donatas Zavascus. Went to high school in Akron before coming to Pittsburgh. Zavascus, a sophomore. And this will be a chance to shoot some free throws now because they are in the bonus.
And what you don't want to do if you're Pitt is turn it over. You can see Pitt with that 8-0 advantage from the line. Not a point in this game for Rutgers from the line.
But Rutgers, the worst shooting team in the league in shooting free throws. You don't look for them to make a living even if they get to the line.
3 attempts, though, just shows you they haven't been getting it to the goal to draw fouls. Still a lot of time in this game, John. A little bit of a run right here that Rutgers is trying to put together themselves.
And 2 important free throws with the clock stopped for Sherrod. The freshman has 8 points. Lead is 11. 6-0 run right now for the Scarlet Knights. And certainly we saw a 12-0 run by them early in this ballgame. So they're capable of jumping right back in it.
The key for Rutgers is they've got to play good defense, and for Pitt to remain aggressive, taking it to the goal themselves. Greer's got to have a lot of touches. He's the key guy.
Greer to Hawkins, lost it between his legs out of bounds. And another chance for the Scarlet Knights. That's 11 turnovers for Pittsburgh. They've been averaging less than 10 their last 3 games.
That ball hit Hawkins right in the chest area. He's got to have his hands ready when he sees a guy like Greer penetrate.
Billet. Knights trying to make a run. Right, bangs his way inside, misses the layup. And Ricardo Greer comes back to Knight. Hawkins cut off on the baseline, reverses. Knight steps around the 3. That
was a big one right there. Wright had a good look there for a layup to get this game to single figures. It's an interesting matchup, huh, with Knight and Rashad Kent up top.
But Vasquez and Billet will pick up the foul. That's 4 on Todd Billet.
Nice job by Knight to find the mismatch, and it was Vasquez with the big height advantage over Todd Billet.
And for the Panthers, he's the guy you do want on the line now that you're in the bonus. He'll have 2 here, though, because he was on his way to the basket.
Now, this is where you put games away, particularly late. Rutgers will have to foul late in this game, and you want to make your free throws, and that can mean the difference between a W and making a game very close.
Well, the problem, though, for both these teams is they have seen games go away because of poor free throw shooting rather than locking them up with good free throw shooting.
Now, both of these teams shoot about 60% as Vasquez, Mitch's number 2, and good free throw shooting teams, John, are 70+%.
Right.
Greer and Billet are just being face guarded by both Brandon Knight and Julius Page. Nice job.
Kent gets inside and draws a foul. Kent working hard to get inside. The foul goes on Hawkins. And Isaac Hawkins has committed his first foul.
Look at those pivot moves inside by Kent. So strong. 6'6", 265, but the free throws are a killer. He's got to figure out how to improve himself from the foul line, because otherwise people will just reach in, as Pitt's doing right now, and send him to the line over and over again.
Kent has missed 4 straight at the line.
He's in a funk. He's in a zone right now, John, where he just can't figure out how to get these things to go. He's got a nice rhythm and a soft release. Just doesn't get the result.
And he hits that one. So he's made 1 out of 5. That's 7 points for him. The lead is 60-49, an 11-point difference. Still 3:51 to go. Handles it. 11-point lead, 3:45 remaining in the game. Pittsburgh trying to lock up their spot in the Big East Championship in Madison Square Garden starting on March 7th.
Where you got to know how to put a game away, John. Up 11, 3.5 to go. Work the clock, execute offensively, make your free throws. And right now, Pitt, a good chance to seal this victory.
Greer tried to go inside, bounced it off the leg of Wright. It goes all the way to the other end out of bounds, and it's still Pittsburgh basketball with 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Again, if you're on Rutgers, don't assume that's going to be a kick ball call. That went off a guy's knee. Go after it. He's going to have to take a long shot here if it goes to Page.
How's that for a long shot? It's a shot clock violation.
That's a long one. If that goes in, John, you know it's your night. Right now for Rutgers, though, Billet's got to get a couple of looks here with Greer. They'll be screening for him.
I know that, Ronnie, but, you know, they've been so good with their perimeter defense, they just have not allowed Billet and Greer to get it going from the outside.
Really extended.
Tried to go inside, and does find Wright. Somehow got it to Wright, and Wright gets the basket. 9-point game now. They get it out of double figures. Sherrod trying to go for the steal against Knight. So the 17-point lead has been whittled away to 9. Here's Greer with a jumper in the lane. Too strong. The rebound handed by Wright to Greer. Sherrod starts back. Keeps his dribble. Then cut off by Greer. Lost it. Got it back. And throws it away. Kent keeps it alive. He wiped out half the coaching staff. Ricardo Greer a rebound.
That was a good save by Kent that time, but for Rutgers, they just can't come up with the big basket there. They're making a good run here, but for Pitt, they're working clock.
Backdoor Page, bending off. Rebound to Sherrod. Here's Billet hustling back the other way. Inside 2 to go. Blocked by Greer. Hawkins has it. Wright bangs into him. That'll be the second on Kareem.
Nice rejection there by Greer. Looked like a good lane to the basket for Todd Billet.
Well, it was Jeff Greer who had the better of it when the two met in Piscataway 2 weeks ago, and tonight it's been Ricardo's turn.
Nice play by Ricardo that time. No doubt about this foul, John.
shooting 1.
He's going to put him in the third row. Hawkins to the line. First chance for Isaac tonight at the free throw line. Free throw shooting really has not been a factor either way. Hawkins has a 15-point ball game. His season high is 21. And the Pittsburgh fans can, if this stays, can begin to make those reservations in New York City. For at least Wednesday night. See what happens after that.
That's exactly right. Well, it should be a great tournament this year at Madison Square Garden. Really tough to predict who will win the tournament this year. You know, any number of teams gets hot, they can get it done.
It's tough to predict who's going to go to the tournament this year, much less win it. Greer for 3, too strong. Out of bounds. And it belongs to Pittsburgh. We've got Kevin Bannon dancing down in front of his bench. Panthers in search of their 6th conference victory. A win tonight would be 14, which would be more than last year. The 6th win would be more Big East wins than last year. And the foul is on Wright, away from the ball.
His third, team 9.
Pittsburgh, of course, wants the intentional foul called on Wright. It was not. It will be a 1-and-1 with just over a minute and a half to go. What do you think about Pittsburgh's postseason chances, maybe for the NIT, if they can win a game in New York?
Well, I'll tell you what, John, you know, this will get them 14, 6-8 in the conference. I think they've got to, I really think they've got to win at least one of the next 2. They've got Syracuse and Virginia Tech, John, to get to 15 wins and then win it at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I think then the NIT is definitely a strong possibility.
That Syracuse game will be in Syracuse on Tuesday, and then they return here to finish the regular season against Virginia Tech next Saturday afternoon. Hawkins buries another and has 18 points tonight. Pittsburgh in control. They have been most of the second half. Billet inside with a miss. Jeff Greer got a piece of the rebound and went back in. We credit that one to Wright. There's a quick foul after the inbound. The foul goes on Mike Sherrod.
Now you know Rutgers is going to battle all the way. John, the problem for Rutgers was January.
Didn't win a game.
They went 0-8 in conference play, but they had some tough losses. They lose by 4 at Villanova. A 1-point loss to Syracuse. They had a lot of tough, close games.
2-point loss to St. John's?
West Virginia. 3-point, another 3-point. Just a lot of tough games, close losses. Couldn't get over the hump, and as a result, you know, they just hadn't been able to get on any kind of a role play. Better late. But Pitt, again, this is a good example of the balance, John. Loses by 20 at Rutgers and now turns it around with a convincing win here at home.
Sherrod stripped out of bounds. It'll be Scarlet Knight basketball. Well, that's the one thing that's so unpredictable. They play so well one night. You look at the 3 points. Greer and Billet combined for a dozen the last time these two teams played. Tonight they've made 5 total. Billet looking for number 6. Hawkins the rebound.
They just have not had clean looks from three-point land. They did in the first half, but Ben Howland's troops have really done a good job. He just said, tight man-to-man, do not leave Billet and Greer, and the defenders haven't. Page, Knight, done an excellent job out there.
In their final regular season meeting, one Greer is going to foul the other. That's the second tonight on Jeff. And Ricardo threw it down the court to Mike Kitts, and he misplayed it. It went into the seats. Look at what's coming up for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, because they're still just one game behind Seton Hall as far as getting out of the cellar and making it to the Big East Championship, and they'll play at Georgetown on Wednesday. And then Saturday, they finish at home against PC. A lot of candidates in this league for Coach of the Year, and I put the name Gail Catlett in that hat as well, Ronnie, because West Virginia has played far better than anyone expected.
Well, Gail's done a great job. The guy that just jumps out at me, though, is Al Skinner at Boston College, John. I mean, that's the same team last year that just had a tough time winning. I think they won 11 overall. They got 11 league victories this year and 20 overall now.
An amazing turnaround for both them and Providence. Tim Welch has done a great job.
No question.
The schedule for Ben Howland that we touched on earlier. They do finish at home here a week from today. Greer with 18, 4 of 5 at the line. So that's 19 points for Ricardo Greer. Jeff from long range, and he got that one. That's his third three. Quick timeout with 47 seconds to play, but it's going to be too little too late here tonight, I think.
Time just not on the side of Rutgers. Kevin Bannon still working it all the way. They'll call timeout here for Pitt. Got to work the clock now.
Let's take a look at what the tournament would look like on opening day in Madison Square Garden if the season ended tonight. And of course, this can all change a lot. But as of now, it'd be West Virginia against Villanova, St. John's and Seton Hall, UConn and Pittsburgh. Syracuse, because of the tiebreak situation, would drop down and have to play on Wednesday against Miami. All of this, of course, can change in the next week.
That's right.
Could change tomorrow.
That's exactly right. But Boston College and Notre Dame would get byes. And, of course, Providence and Georgetown in the West. So, no matter how you look at it, John, once those matchups get put together, every one of those games is going to be kind of an either-or situation in terms of who's going to pull it out. Pressure by Rutgers.
Zavascus around Kent. Has it stolen by Sherrod. They find Billet. Steps back for three. Zavascus the rebound. He's trapped.
And fouls.
Oh, Wright's going to pick up the foul. I think that's 4 now. Is that 5? I thought we might have a foul change, but apparently not. It's going to be 5.
That's his 5th.
So Wright will foul out.
Wright fouls out with 8 points.
He leaves with 8 points as he fouls out for just the second time this season.
Did a good job off the bench, John. Dabney started off well for Rutgers with 4 quick points, but Kareem Wright 8, so they got a dozen out of their center position. Kent in foul trouble really hurt the Rutgers cause here tonight.
Kent is not fouled out, but the foul trouble has kept him out of the game.
He had to sit a lot in the first half after he picked up 2.
Agzani checks back in at 67-56 with 31 seconds to go. All of Donatus' points tonight have come at the line. He's 5 for 7. Johnson checks back in along with Stevanovic. Zavascus goes to the bench, and one more time a hug and a hand for Ricardo Greer and his family and friends from the Washington Heights area. There's Sherrod for 2 more. Sherrod in double figures with 10.
He's done a good job. The freshman's got a bright future in front of him.
Alley-oop and almost winning the basket.
I think Ben Howland would rather just see his team pull the ball out right now.
How about that rebound and followed by Greer as he gets himself in double figures with 11. 10 seconds to go. Page will stop and get a chance to shoot free throws with 6 seconds left in the game.
There's no point in making that foul. This game is over with 6 seconds, and I think Page was just trying to work the clock down, but a nice comeback by Pitt after the early start, John. In a 4-point game at halftime, they really opened it up with some terrific perimeter defense in the second half.
Good second half. At this point, 47, 48 points. They played very well. Page, his first chance at the line tonight, the freshman, and you will hear a lot about him next year. 10-point difference, and it's going to stay that way. Johnson battling for the rebound. Agzani simply tips it toward the Pittsburgh bench, and that's going to do it. Pittsburgh wins by 10, 70-60. They go to 14-11, 6-8 in the conference. The Greers meet for maybe the final time on the court. The one thing for sure, the Panthers will be in Madison Square Garden for the Big East Championship, so my congratulations to them. They have gone past last year's victory totals. Let's check the updated West Division standings. As Pittsburgh wins its 6th conference game with 2 remaining to be played. 6-8. Seton Hall is at 4-9, and Rutgers, Ronnie, is not dead yet because they're 3-11 and the season is not over.
Now they've got to finish up strong, but they really wanted this game tonight. A big win for Pitt getting that victory, and they've really separated themselves in the standings with that one.
Let's check out the East now with a couple more games on tap tomorrow. And remember, these standings can change in a hurry. You look at the East, Boston College and Providence College are the leaders right now in the East, but you cannot count St. John's out simply because they have played 2 fewer games than Providence and they're even in the loss column.
Now it's a good battle up top. BC with a big victory today against Providence. St. John's coming on strong. Don't count Connecticut out either. They've got 18 overall, 7-7, and they're starting to surge toward the NCAA tournament as well.
Leading scorers in this game tonight, Billet had 15 for the Scarlet Knights. 13 of those, though, came in the first half. Mike Sherrod with 10. Jeff Greer struggled a bit tonight. He had 3 3-pointers. He finished with 11. For Pittsburgh, it was Ricardo Greer with 19 points tonight. Isaac Hawkins had 18. Those are the only 2 Panthers in double figures, but there was a little more balance there as Knight chipped in with 9. Julius Page had 8. Zavascus had 6. They all came at the free throw line, and off the bench, Chad Johnson was a bit of a factor as he had 8 points in this game tonight. There are the totals for the Greers as they match up one final time. In some respects, it's the end of an era. And you look at the point totals now tonight at 30 points between the 2, Ronnie. They are now the all-time leading scorers for brothers, not only in Big East games, but also in all games. So they have now passed the Curleys in both categories.
Well, it's been a great matchup over the years, the past 4 years. They've both handled themselves very well and also performed very well on the court. So it's been a lot of fun watching them play. Ricardo with a little edge tonight with the Panthers. They had a great hug at the end of the game. Jeff Greer has played very well throughout his career, both 1,000-plus point scorers. So you don't see that kind of thing very often, and they're the top tandem brother scoring in Big East history now.
Matter of fact, 6 times they went head-to-head, and I think overall, individually, Ricardo probably got a little bit the better of it, but the 2 teams do get a split in their season series, so the Scarlet Knights are still in deep trouble as far as making it to the Big East Championship is concerned. The Pittsburgh Panthers know that they're going to be in New York City.
That's right. That was a big game, and that's what they solidified here tonight. Nice comeback victory, a nice bounce back from just February 11th, not that long ago, John, that Rutgers shot the lights out and beat Pitt by 20. So great game, a great embrace right there with the Greer brothers.
Possibly the final time the 2 brothers will go head-to-head. They did tonight, and Pittsburgh got the better of it. The final tonight, the Pittsburgh Panthers 70, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers 60. For Ron Perry and our entire crew here in Pittsburgh, I'm John Sanders, preceding a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. Good night.